Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The awards ceremony is about to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host for the evening, Mahara Anyubi.
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The awards ceremony is about to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The awards ceremony is about to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host for the evening, Myra Anubi.
Good evening and welcome to the Ashden Awards here at the National Gallery. It's a special night and it's lovely to see you all here and also to know that so many others are joining us online to celebrate the climate innovators creating a fairer, safer and better future. My name is Myra Anubi, and I'm back, and I present the BBC World Service program called People Fixing the World. So every day I meet incredible people who are making a difference in our planet, people like the winners that we will see today. So for many of you guys, this is just another award ceremony, but for me, this is kind of like being at the opening ceremony of a climate World Cup, only we're all on the same team. England. I'm also a mom to two fantastic children who are also, mums in the, to two fantastic children who are also master negotiators. They've managed to convince me to let them stay up and watch this online in their pajamas, wherever the... and if you think speaking to a room with like 300 people is a big deal, try speaking to a 10 and 8-year-old every day. I have spoken on different stages before, but those two kids are the most difficult audience I've had to navigate to date, but they are amazing. And I will tell you what they think. They think that mom working on radio is basically code for mom talks a lot. That's not true. Something else that they are very into right now is Avengers. The Marvel comic book, the movies, right? Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, all of that. Now, I don't know much about that world. My husband, who's here, does all that with them. But for anyone who might be watching, whether you're 8 or 10 years old online, or those of you in the audience, you will truly marvel at the people that you will see today. And like I told my kids, I'm about to introduce you to the Avengers of climate change. So you thought you were coming for an award ceremony, but this is going to feel more like a movie premiere. Ashden is rolling out the red carpet, or in this case, green carpet, for our renewable energy rock stars, our guardians of the future, and our very own solar-powered superheroes. In fact, I've even got a climate change magician, somewhere in our audience. And different from the characters, the fictional characters, the Avengers, the people I will introduce to you today are real. Now, it's only right that we start at the very beginning, with one of those rare people who saw the potential of climate solutions long before the rest of the world had caught up. I mean, some people will see a good idea, but this woman, she sees them, she backs them, she supports the people behind them, and in so doing, she has quietly been changing the world. But today, we refuse to be quiet about her. Let's begin today's celebrations by giving a loud welcome to the person who started it all, Ashden's founder and ambassador, Sarah Butler-Sloss.
Thank you, and welcome. Welcome. It's wonderful to see you all here today. Friends, family, and new friends, I hope, on this journey. Being the founder of Ashden, this is my 26th award ceremony, 19 years. 19 years as Ashden's CEO, 7 years as its chair. And now I'm delighted to have passed on the baton of chair to a brilliant new chair, Gavin Shepherd, who is here tonight. And I'm now stepping into the shoes of being an ambassador for Ashden. Throughout these 26 years, the award ceremony has been the highlight of Ashden's year, and certainly a highlight of mine. A time to meet in person the brilliant and inspirational champions, to hear their stories directly and see their work on the big screen, as we soon will. This evening is actually extra special, as it's the first time we've held it in the Sainsbury wing of the National Gallery, which is a place very close to my heart. It wouldn't be here, or not in this shape, if it hadn't been for the great vision and enormous generosity of John, Simon, and Tim Sainsbury, my father and my uncles. The planning and design of this building was often much debated and discussed in our household during my 20s, along with hearing about the many ups and downs that went into making this place possible. It is probably the greatest gift my father and uncles gave to this nation, and one that couldn't have been done without identifying a problem that needed to be tackled. A bomb site from the London Blitz that had been left as wasteland for 50 years was the problem. Having a vision of how to solve it, to enable a beautiful building to be built, fit for its incredible location in the heart of London, and fit for the precious collection that was going to be housed in it. It also took stubborn determination to achieve this vision and overcome the many obstacles that came in their way, as well as the crucial ingredient of all of them being having a passion for philanthropy and giving to a great cause. They worked closely with a talented group of people: Neil McGregor, the then director of the National Gallery, Jacob Rothschild, the then chair, the architects, obviously, and many others. But what they did was they devoted much time, love, thought, creativity, and generosity to achieve their vision. And what a great building they helped create. Their example and approach was very inspirational to me, and along with some of their genes as well, it might be why I've done what I've done at Ashden. But in a very different and crucial sector, and somewhat more challenging even than theirs. Back in 2000, 3 billion people in the global south lacked access to electricity and safe cooking. Meanwhile, there was plenty of scientific evidence that told us that burning fossil fuels and cutting down forests at scale was warming this planet. My vision, which I pursued with stubborn optimism, was to find ways to enable clean energy to leapfrog over the fossil fuel revolution and to provide clean energy, to enable clean energy to leapfrog over the fossil fuel revolution and to provide power to those communities that had none in an affordable and accessible way. And so to help lift the poor themselves out of poverty and enable better jobs, better livelihoods, improved health and educational opportunities. With a brilliant team and talented team, we did this by rewarding, promoting, supporting, and giving a voice to the innovators and the champions on the ground where they were enabling this vision to happen, and so that their enterprises could expand and replicate and inspire and influence the change that was so much needed. So very soon we extended this vision and approach to the UK in making our towns, cities and schools more sustainable for all. And we've expanded beyond just energy, to include nature-based solutions to mitigate and to be resilient to the impacts of our warming world. It has been so rewarding over the years to see the impact and the influence that our winners have brought to so many people. And to see the impact that our awards and our programs have catalyzed them to scale, to become game changers, to replicate, and to transform some of the sectors that they worked in. Their collective influence... Whoops. Their collective influence has really has helped change the sector. Ashden has delivered enormous benefits to many millions of people, saved millions of trees and reduced carbon emissions hugely. It has been an enormous honour and a privilege to be part of Ashden, and it's thanks to an excellent team with brilliant leadership from the CEOs that followed me that Ashden has achieved so much and continues to do so. Ashden's journey is far from complete. There is still so much, sadly, to do and so much work to be done. I hope you enjoy this evening. I hope you get inspired by the winners. And if so, maybe I hope that you might consider being part of the Ashden family and supporting us in any way you can. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. None of us would be here if it wasn't for your vision and your generous heart. Now, I would like to welcome on stage Ashden's CEO, a man who is cycling his way into a better future, Ashok Sinha. Let's give it up for Ashok.
Thank you very much, Myra. I've actually been told my first job is to move the dead bird. Thank you ever so much. Okay, I think I've fulfilled my duties for the evening. Thank you, Myra. Sarah, over the past few weeks, many of us, me included, have paid fulsome tribute to you, and each time it has been richly deserved. I'm sorry there's so little time today. I'll have to keep it brief. You are simply a remarkable person who has achieved truly remarkable things, and everybody in Ashden is full to the brim with admiration for you. And you are the single most important reason. Your vision, your dogged, determined optimism is the single most important reason that we've had the successes that we've had over the last quarter of a century and the impact that we've had. So thank you from the bottom of all our hearts for everything that you have done. And may I please take this opportunity to introduce our new chair, Gavin Shepherd. Where are you, Gavin? You please stand up. No, wave isn't good enough. Please stand up. So, Gavin, you are undoubtedly sick of hearing this, but you have immense shoes to fill. But if I may put it this way, we have enormous confidence in the size of your feet. We're already enjoying working with you, Gavin, and we're looking forward to continuing to work with you and to build on Sarah's legacy. Welcome to the team. Cherished guests, thank you ever so much for honouring us with your company on this very important occasion, the 2026 edition of the annual Ashden Awards. As ever, we're thrilled and delighted to have you with us here this evening, and I very much hope you enjoy and are inspired by the stories of the 2026 Ashden Award winners. Profuse thanks also to the trustees of the National Gallery for so kindly permitting us to use this magnificent setting, truly magnificent setting, Sarah, for this evening's celebrations. I think it's only appropriate that I say a few facts about the gallery's commitment to sustainability. So, did you know that the recent refurbishment of the Sainsbury wing was achieved with zero, I say zero, waste to landfill? with about 4 tons of material going out for reuse in the community, and achieved an overall 29% reduction in embodied carbon. Pretty impressive, I'm sure you'll agree. So well done to the National Gallery for being such a leading light for sustainability within the arts and cultural sector. Friends, hope. Hope is a precious and powerful emotion that flickers irrepressibly even in the absence of reason. But when it comes to taking the decisive action needed to avert the climate emergency, I, for one, am so much more than hopeful. I am optimistic. Optimistic that humanity can and will step away from the cliff edge and walk a better path for all. Why such optimism? Because only a little while ago, people would scoff at the very notion that the sun and the wind could power our economy, but today about 50% of the UK's electricity needs are met from renewable sources. They used to say that renewables are an expensive niche luxury for the West, but today solar is the fastest growing energy market across India, China and Africa. And because the bloody war in the Middle East has seen a surge in the global sales of electric vehicles, electric solar cookers, solar home systems. But we have to also note with great concern the loss of life and the suffering that this war has caused. All of this nourishes my optimism, but it is rooted in something much deeper. I have faith in the future because I have the privilege of regularly meeting extraordinary people behind the enterprises and organisations that win Ashden Awards. How many of us can say when we get home in the evening after a day's work that because of our labours, there is a pensioner in a far-flung Scottish island who will be safe and warm this winter because his home has been properly insulated? There is a young woman in West Africa from an impoverished background who has now been able to set up and run a successful solar business because of the training she has received in entrepreneurship and engineering from other young Africans. Because there is a woman farmer in central India who is now earning much more income because she has access to a solar irrigation system and is able to deposit that income in her very own bank account for the very first time, not that of her husband. These are all real, human, deep impacts that Ashden Award winners are achieving, striving daily across the world to increase access to clean energy, to harness and protect nature, especially for the poorest and most vulnerable, leaving no one behind. However, if I may just focus on the UK for one moment, so many people in our country are not optimistic. The evidence from the streets to the ballot box is that so many of our fellow citizens do not have faith in the future. They feel disenfranchised, disrespected, disillusioned, and loud voices are telling them that the green transition, if I may call it that, is not for them, will not work for them. That is a very important reason why Ashden Award winners are very important themselves at this time. They are proving, they are demonstrating across the UK, across the world, that the green transition is bringing opportunity where there was marginalisation, is bringing dignity where there was hardship, and is bringing optimism where there was sometimes scarcely even hope. We live at a time of increased social and political polarization, and some voices are telling us that we need to drill, baby, drill, and that might is right. Ashden Award winners are showing us that there is a better way. The greener way is the better pathway to a more secure, more resilient, more prosperous, happier future. And they're doing it from Lewisham to Lagos, from Barnsley to Bangalore, with and for the benefit of those who need it most. All we need is the right kind of backing, the right policies, the right regulations, the right incentives, the right finance, and that can be achieved. So, thank you all once again for being here to celebrate the Ashden 2026 award winners. Please be motivated by them. We should all work so much harder together to create a new reality for all, a better reality for all, in which the yoke of disadvantage is eased by an abundance of affordable clean energy, and where the choice to live, thrive and prosper in harmony with nature is not a choice anymore, it is simply to live. Ashden will do everything that we possibly can to help bring about this new reality, including by telling the wonderful stories of our award winners, past and present, to decision makers of all kinds and to influential audiences such as your good selves. And we do so not just with hope, but optimism, determined optimism, that in no small measure, because of the organisations and enterprises that win Ashden Awards and others like them and the people behind them, humanity's best days are still to come. So thank you so much for being here again. Congratulations to all of this year's award winners. Please do make sure you say hello to them in the reception afterwards. We also have with us today some representatives from African enterprises that are participating in our Powering Clean Energy Investment Programme, so please do say hello to them during the reception. I should also say thank you to our funders and sponsors, without whom the Ashden Awards would not be possible. Ashden wouldn't exist without all of our funders. And if you feel you'd like to support us to improve and expand and deepen our impact, come and have a word with me. I'm easy to find. And with that, I simply say again, it's great to have you with us, and I hope you have a truly splendid evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashok. I always say on the long list you have of the things that Ashden has done, you should add helping people get married, because I'm married to a previous winner. So put that on the website as well. The moment to celebrate our winners is here. Now, there were more than 360 applications this year, which to some people sounds like a problem, but to me that's a good problem. It means there are 360 people out there trying to fix our world. You could have each one of them work one day of the year and still give them Christmas off, New Year's. But even with that, there's still a lot more work that needs to be done. So before we announce the winners, let's start by acknowledging the two runners-up. All of them earned huge praise from our judges, despite missing out on the top prize. And those runners-up are Avon Needs Trees and Canopy Housing. Let's clap for them. Many congratulations to both of them. Now it's time to celebrate our 2026 Ashden Award UK winners. First, the Ashden Award for Nature-Based Climate Solutions that goes to Revolution. Let's see how these champions are creating jobs, protecting businesses, and caring for our rivers.
The floods in 2007 were particularly impactful in Sheffield. Businesses were crippled, people were evacuated from homes. It was really a very significant flood event that woke people up to the things that can really make flooding worse in an urban area. So Revolution was set up immediately after the floods of 2007 in Sheffield. So our aims are to improve the river health in general terms, to reduce the number of invasive species, all of these things then to have an impact on reducing flood risk, but at the same time we want to train people up to be able to pursue a career in the environmental sector. The organisations we work with, there's always a sort of mutual relationship there. Some of the businesses up and down the river, they need a bit of their riverbank looking after to reduce their flood risk, so they are able to procure that service from us and have it done in a way that's good for biodiversity, a way that is going to employ local people in the form of apprentices to come and do that work.
Most of our sites are potential flood risk. The 2007 flood, our head office was totally flooded, whereas it used to be every few years, it's now becoming every year that we're on flood risk. We are a financial contributor to Revolution, and also we take part in the river cleanup days. Most of our employees walk or spend time along the rivers as well outside of work, and it's an opportunity for them to learn more about how important it is to maintain them.
people don't know these types of jobs exist, like so close to where you live. I started doing an environmental conservation course at college once I left school, and I thought, yeah, this is definitely for me. And Revolution came and did a volunteer day with the college, and I thought, wow, this is really up my street. So I asked them if they got any jobs open, and they said, yeah, we've got some apprenticeships. So I signed up for one of them, and then here I am now.
I really wanted to do an apprenticeship because I'm quite dyslexic, and I like to do something practical whilst I'm learning. It really helps me retain the information. I mean, it was the only environmental apprenticeship that really came up when I was looking, but it was kind of perfect for me because I love being on the rivers, and I'm from Sheffield as well.
The team in Sheffield last year, they took 120 tonnes of litter and debris out of the river. And that's a combination of our employed staff, the apprentices, but also community groups and corporate groups that have got involved. Delivered 2,700 hours of training for free to people from the community, either those that came to be involved in a short training programme, or in our longer training programs where people can come and get involved for a day a week for 6 months and walk away with a package of qualifications that then will help them get into careers. Some of them go on to work for us, but they've also gone on to work with Natural England and the Environment Agency, or gone on to higher education. We've seen our stewardship partnership that was established in Sheffield grow, and we now have one in Humber region as well. What we would really love to see is a stewardship partnership, or something that achieves the similar goals on every river system in the country.
Well, first, whoever came up with the name Revolution needs an award as well. It makes you want to put on your wellies, get into a wetsuit, and find a river. Here to present the award, please welcome Stuart Hobley, Director at the Linbury Trust, and the award winner, Geoffrey Guy, CEO of Revolution.
Thank you very much. On behalf of me, of the team at Revolution, our colleagues at River Stewardship Company, and the partners in our stewardship partnerships, thank you for this award and for having us here this evening. As you saw in the video, our mission is to enhance and restore rivers and riparian habitats, and while we do it, tackle flood risk and engage the communities that live alongside those rivers with that work. And that's why training and Revolution's Training Academy is such an important part of what we do. Being able to offer training and employ apprentices as part of this work on the rivers breaks barriers for people who may not know where to start their career in the environmental sector. And it helps new career entrants of any age into the sector, into a sector where there are jobs, where there are opportunities, and where there is lots of work to be done. You met Morton in the video there. Morton, like he said, he joined us on a volunteer basis while he was at college, moved on to an apprenticeship and was employed by us in that capacity, and has fairly recently graduated and is now a qualified river steward, and he works every day for our parent company, the River Stewardship Company, heading into the river and onto the riverbanks. And in fact, I've got an opportunity to work with him next week. We're going to be building a natural flood management feature and teaching our latest batch of apprentices how to do that. But there are plenty more people that want those jobs. There's, in the sector, there is always a river somewhere for them to be involved in or on. So, between us, let's bring a revolution to every river.
Thank you. Thank you, Stuart, and congratulations once again to Revolution. You want to do this as you say that. Next, the UK Ashden Award for Local Energy Innovation, which goes to Plymouth Energy Community, who are powering up their local city. Let's see how.
We started from an initial local political ambition led by the council to help people that were on the lowest incomes but paying the most for their energy, and that was kind of blunt little ambition and a desire to see more solar in the city. So Plymouth Energy Community came from that initial route and has grown from that. We have a diverse portfolio because energy touches in so many different places. So we have services that support people in crisis.
I was struggling to find money to keep the electric on and to heat my place. But I asked PEC for help, and they provided me with energy grants which have really helped. The energy tips that I've had off them have been really insightful. Just knowing somebody's on your side is worth everything, you know?
When we're talking about supporting people with domestic retrofit, that's way more complicated than just giving somebody some advice. That transition that they're going through within their home needs kind of support along the way, and we seek to stand by people on that journey. In 2013, we started off with a fairly sort of blunt ambition to let's see how we could get some more kind of solar. We started working with some schools, and we ran a community share raise that resulted in 22 rooftops were installed in that first year. By 2016, we had 6 megawatts of total generation across the city. So the potential to do more of that is massive. Our solar farm, Earn or Settle, it supplies energy to the grid. So last year we made a surplus of 600,000 that came direct from the solar farm straight into the work that we're doing here in the wider community.
We get a rent for the land where the solar panels are on. We use that rent to try and give back to our community. I can't stress how much working with PEC makes a difference to our community.
We are working with so many different organisations across the city, and we have a long established and deep relationship with the local council.
So we've worked with PEC on lots of things, but the most exciting thing at the minute is the new community solar we're developing at Chelsea Meadows. It's an old landfill site. PEC came forward with an idea to put solar on it, so we own the land. This 15 megawatt site will provide energy for the council, help achieve our net zero ambitions, but it's community, which means there'll be community shares, but also a proportion of what we make out that solar farm will go back into the communities that really need it. And we're very much hoping with the local power plan and everything government is putting out that we're kind of right on track of being a pioneer in this space.
So since we were established, we've supported 14,000 households with one-to-one support. That one-to-one support just last year supported those houses directly, £1.7 million. And our work on our rooftop portfolio has generated a total benefit to those businesses of over £1 million.
They're not just trying to do community energy, they're not just trying to do retrofit, they're looking at the whole system. One of our really key things is about it's a great place to grow up and grow old. You don't grow up or grow old anywhere if you're cold, if you're really struggling with your energy bills. It's about bringing up everything that we've already got to really good standards so people really get to enjoy all this because they're not worried about the basics at home.
So they just said you don't grow up and grow old if you're cold. So let's give a warm welcome to the head of thematic research at Impacts Asset Management, who is Paolo Marchi, who will be giving the award to Claire Maines, Advice Service Manager at Plymouth Energy Community. Warm.
Thank you. We can't build a fair energy system if we lose sight of the human. A while ago, I met a very young child when I was on a home visit, and she was stood barefoot on a cold concrete floor that was her living room, and she was wearing a Disney princess nightshirt, and it was Elsa. And her family couldn't afford carpet for the home, and they most certainly couldn't afford the energy to keep them warm. We help thousands of families like that in Plymouth every year. And not just to solve energy problems, but to help them feel part of a system, something that belongs to them. And not only that, we work with over 100 partners who all want the best for the people of Plymouth, and they understand that local really matters. And why does that matter here when we're in London? Because we can't build that energy system by ourselves, and we know that. So please join us. Help us build foundations and not just the projects. Help us build community energy that truly lasts, because energy needs community, and communities up and down the country need people just like you. Thank you so much. We are so proud. I can't even begin to say. Thank you too from our Chief Executive, Alistair, who you saw in the video, who can't be with us tonight, but who I know is incredibly proud. This award belongs to every single member of the Plymouth Energy Community family. It belongs to all of our partners, but mostly it belongs to the residents who put their trust in us every single day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, and congratulations once again. You touched on community, which is actually a key part of something I want us to discuss next. I want to pause for a moment and let you in on something you might not know. One of the most powerful climate movements in this country was happening, and not in Parliament, not in a boardroom, not even in a lab. It was happening right under our noses, in places filled with curiosity and people who will inherit the future that we're creating now. Back in 2023, Green Future Investments put their faith and their money into a huge expansion of Ashden's work with schools across England. 3 years later, over a third of the schools in the UK are signed up, and we're seeing real impact. Let's take a look at what it means to be part of Let's Go Zero.
It feels really good to be part of Let's Go Zero, because I think it's a really good way of making other people know that we need to reduce carbon dioxide and take care of the environment.
And the sun is giving energy, okay, so the energy is going in as exactly right. The solar panel is then collecting that energy. So are you ready for the sun to come? And can you see that the
Let's Go Zero is the national campaign for all schools, colleges and nurseries to be zero carbon. We work across the country supporting schools to take climate action. We have a team of over 30 climate action advisors who are there all across England helping schools to know what they should do, what they should start with, all the action they can take, and it helps them to also to write their climate action plan.
It's been an incredible journey, the action plan that we create together, and we meet every term to discuss. Holly's got this wealth of knowledge and skill set, and Let's Go Zero has really supported the school in making sure we access as much as we can for free. Budgets are really tight, so that's really important.
There are a range of processes and tools that we as climate action advisors use to support schools to take climate action. At the heart of this is the climate action plan. This is a document that the Department for Education expects all schools to have in place. It's a practical working document that brings together all of the actions that a school intends to work on over the coming year.
But I'm sure in the future they'll make that money back on the savings they make. Self-waters from the downpipe
and we never have to alter these plans.
So the first thing I did was look into managing the boilers through software. Yeah, it's one of the proudest things I've done is actually thinking that energy bill came down by 10k and now I can use it to take the kids camping.
We can see that schools need a combination of both really good solid advice, but they also need access to funding, whether that's about putting renewables in, so solar panels on their roof, or LED lighting, or whether it's about making their sites more resilient to climate change. They need to be able to access reliable funding to be able to do that. We're really delighted to have been part of the Great British Energy Solar Partnership programme. It's really an exciting programme that has shown that you can take action across schools and how it can lead to that scale and pace that we need to be seeing nationally.
So we're really excited about the solar panels in school, and that has been part of the curriculum, part of the work we've done on assemblies, and children really understanding the impact of solar energy. So in terms of money, we've saved £700. Long term, we're looking at over the academic year that this will be £12,000. So it's possible then that we can have additional adult support by using the £12,000 that we would have spent on energy.
It makes me proud that our school is part of the Let's Go Zero campaign. So we're really pleased that we are on the journey with Let's Go Zero, and that actually the support that we receive and the resources that are available is massively helping us in our drive for sustainability as well.
Let's go zero!
Indeed. Indeed, Let's Go Zero. Please help me welcome Let's Go Zero's head, Alex Green, and the CEO of the Green Future Investments Limited, Andy Rounding. I'm just going to turn this way and pretend we're sat in my garden, because I wish my garden looked like this. I'll start with you, Alex, right? More than 9,000 schools signed up. 2 million students?
3.6 million.
3.6 million students. You don't know this, but you are my climate magician of the night. How have you managed to do this, Alex?
Well, that's very kind. I am definitely not a magician, but I think there's a team of magicians, definitely. And not just the Ashden team and working with the GPhil team as well. We have 32 climate action advisors who are experts in giving schools climate advice, and they are so amazing. They're the ones that are really performing magic tricks around there. But actually, it's not like the England football team. It's not just about the players, it's about that wider support system. So actually, we work as a team across the sector. We work with loads of other organisations, and we do a lot of work with the Department for Education. We work with University of Reading and the Natural History Museum and RHS and so many other organisations collaboratively. And actually, it's when you combine the policy change, the philanthropy, and you combine that with really solid working, that's when we move mountains. And I didn't even have to use my magic wand.
No. I'll come to you now, Andy, and don't worry, I won't call you a magician. In keeping with Avengers, you're more like Iron Man,
don't be
right?
Offended.
Just from an investor's point of view, what made Let's Go Zero worth backing?
It's an easy question to answer. We met with Sarah many moons ago, and we were certainly bought into the passion and drive that she gave out. We at Green Future Investments, we were starting in 2021. We had a mandate to mend the world and save this planet from our friend Brian Meredith, who sadly passed away in 2020. We wanted to go to schools and we wanted to decarbonise the schools. And we had this wonderful plan that we would go and we'd do 10 schools. Here we are now at approaching 10,000. I'll say 10,000, that's the next target. But what it means for us insofar as Let's Go Zero and the team at Ashden, I mean, first point is that they're all fantastic. I mean, anybody who works for Ashden is incredible. And I And I think the word I discussed earlier with Gavin was the word trust, and it certainly is that. We trust Let's Go Zero and Ashden to deliver what they say they're going to do. But for us, it was clear that we were on the same page with regards to the climate change, with regards to wanting to do more than just the 10 schools and make this a systemic change with maximum impact across the country.
Now, I mean, coming back to you, Alex, schools are often seen as a place of learning, but you've positioned them as a place where you can find agents of change. What role do children play in driving, the change that we should see in the future?
Well, without wanting to sound too much like a Michael Jackson song, it is all about the children. That's what this is all about. The campaign and the work that we do and the work of so many other organisations doing this was brought about as a response to the student strikes. Our young people literally marching in the streets, shouting at us with placards. And we do this now, not just for the climate benefits, but actually it creates better learning environments. It's inspiring children, it's teaching them leadership, it's giving them better places to learn with nature and for nature. And that they will go on to be better leaders than we've been, I guess. And the reach is enormous, the reach for young people. So nearly 50% of households have school-aged children in them. That's, half of the kids in a secondary school today are going to vote in the next election. Well, they'll be allowed to, whether they'll vote or not. So there is this real reach, and their voices are going to get louder. They are, you've got kids, you know how persuasive they can be. Yeah. They can do a lot of really impressive work.
And so then, what do the numbers tell us? What's next? How do we keep the momentum going? I'll start with you, Andy.
I think the big thing for us is about building this as a thing, as a beast that can be taken forward into the future. It was never about a 3-year project. It was always about systemic change, maximum impact. And I think we touched on there with Alex. It's about generational change and the next generation of children and their children thinking completely different to how they think today. For us as an investment company, I mean, this for us was never about an investment return. It was philanthropic. It was about the change in the schools, in the children. We really liked the notion of looking at the finance sector and changing how the finance sector deal with schools, how the government changes their view on the climate action plans. So it's that broader reach of I mean, the word is change. The change and impact is our buzz.
What about you, Alex?
Well, when we started doing this, we used to talk about there being a tipping point, and we thought the tipping point was something like 3,000 schools, and obviously we're 9,000 now. So we're way beyond that tipping point. It's become something that is done by schools. We know a DfE survey recently said that 60% of schools are taking active climate planning. They're really taking action. So we know that shift has happened. So I mean, the ambition is all schools, obviously. Why not? I keep increasing the targets for my team all the time. They love it. But also, you mentioned briefly about the finance side, and that's really important. Schools need funding to be able to do the retrofit, do the action. We've got an amazing project now with HACT and PNZ, who are winners of Ashden Awards, who are looking at a brilliant project that's going to put carbon credits for the education sector, retrofit carbon credits, which is the first ever to be done. So those are the sort of things that it's inspired us to do. It's made us think outside the box and be a bit inventive, a bit crazy.
Amazing. So there's a school bus called Let's Go Zero, and we all have a chance to get on board. And the true magic is philanthropy, partnership, and policy, right? Thank you all. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause to my magician. A round of applause to my magician and my Iron Man of the evening. You know, as a mom, something else that really stayed with me was seeing kids speak so confidently about clean energy, you know, having that knowledge. Actually, I grew up and I was born in Kenya, and we have a saying that's samaki mkunje angali mbichi, which basically means you've got to fold the fish while it's still fresh, which means two things in this case. One, that, you know, when kids are young, it's the best opportunity we have to actually help them, work with them, nurture them, teach them, and get them on board. But also that my ancestors really liked fish. I keep thinking of the idea of them cooking fish and having all these profound ideas, which is great. But now, let's cast our award-winning fishing nets further afield to recognize and celebrate the 2026 International Ashden Awards. And let's start with our wonderful runners-up, 3 exceptional organizations creating impact around the world. The first, Resham Sutra from India. The second, Megagas from my birth country, Kenya. And the third, Care from Peru. Let's just give them a quick round of applause. Now let's honor today's winners. The first, the International Award, is for Outstanding Achievement. Now, this one was a close one between 2 organizations, both from India. What's happening in India? There's something there. Bring me some water when you visit next. But the winner is the Pioneering Frontier Markets, who first won back in 2016. Let's take a look at what they've done since then.
In rural India, there's a massive access challenge. So 700,000 villages in the country have 800 million people that today are not accessing quality products and services that help them address the challenges of their lives. Frontier Markets, as a company that's now been around for 14 years, we've evolved quite a lot. We went from only focusing on lighting and solar solutions because that was the need of the hour to now becoming a technology marketplace platform that is centering services and solutions to last mile rural villages. And we've been able to deliver services across clean energy products, climate resilient solutions, consumer durables, agri, finance, digital banking services, etc. What we have done is we've identified women who wanted to set up a shop. They could be running a grocery shop, they could be running a beauty parlor. We give them a digital application called the Meri Saheli technology, the first ever AI-enabled technology platform, which was designed with, for, and by rural women. They then get trained by us, and they're essentially becoming that service provider. Our original Sahelis that we had started off with 10 years ago, those are now community leaders. We call them super Sahelis. These are women that are now actually helping identify these women entrepreneurs. So today, we have about 8,000 of these super Sahelis.
मेरे पियर से मैं गरीब परिवार से थी, तो मेरी सिस्टर के साथ मेरी शादी 5 साल की कर दी थी। उसके बाद मुझे 14 साल की हुई तब ससुराल भेज दिया था, 8वीं पास किए थे। ऐप में काम करने से मेरे जीवन में बहुत बदलाव आया है। फ्रंटियर मार्केट ज्वाइन करने के बाद पहले मैं फ़ोन चलाना नहीं जानती थी और सारी चीज़ में फ़ोन में ऑनलाइन डिजिटल में बहुत सीखा है और मैंने बोलना चालना सीखा, आना जाना सीखा है। मैंने इनके जुड़ने के बाद एक प्लॉट भी खरीदा और उसमें मकान भी बनाया।
40,000 rural women entrepreneurs are on a technology platform today that have delivered over 100 million solutions into their villages, impacting over 5 million families. They've earned over $25 million worth of income that changes their life. All of our rural customers are agri-families. Rural farmers are dealing with climate in a very intense way, whether that's floods, whether that's droughts. So we were able to design the first ever climate resilient insurance product designed for small women farmers.
तो हमारे जो फसल पे ही निर्भर करते हैं, खेती बाड़ी पे ही निर्भर रहते हैं, तो उनको इंश्योरेंस इसलिए चाहिए कि अधिकतर मौसम खराब होता है, उनकी फसल बिगड़ जाती है। साल ओढ़े पड़ गए थे तो हमारी सारी फसल खराब हो गई थी। मेरे पास 8 बीघा ज़मीन थी तो 8 बीघा की सिरसों मेरी भी ख़त्म हो गई थी, तो इससे बहुत नुकसान जाता है।
So our vision now is how might we take 40,000 women entrepreneurs to 1 million by 2030 in partnership with government. Imagine 100 million voices being heard through the lens of responsible women that are championing the change. And that's the vision that we're looking to achieve.
Please welcome on stage the founder and CEO of Frontier Markets, Ajayita Shah, and to present the award, Sarah Butler-Sloss, the chair of Aurora Trust.
You know, every time you think you saw the video or you got trained to like do this, you think that you're going to be on it. But it's really powerful. All the calls, all the conversations, everything that happened today just keeps making me think, what are we doing now? What's the big next thing? So before I get into that, I have to say, I'm just so grateful because this award is for everybody in this room, everybody and beyond. You were the instigator. You were the supporter. You literally were the person that actually was there when it mattered the most. And it's important to understand what that means because you need those stubborn optimists or those people that are unapologetically accepting the idea that the world can change because we are the change makers. So everybody in this room, just clap for yourself because you are. I'm gonna take us back 10 years ago. So the first Saheli I ever met in Rajasthan that inspired me to get down this journey, which was a lovely woman named Sunita, who said, you know, Ajayita, if my children, forget me, if my children had access to light after dark, they could become something that I could never become. And that was it. That's all she said. And when you think about it, you process it, and you're like, that's like philosophy. And you're saying, wow. And that's why we created Frontier Markets. It was not just about one solution. It was about people. It was about planet. It was about profit. But it was also, most importantly, about aspirations. And tonight, it said 40,000, but I'm very happy to tell you it's 50,000 now. Today, we're celebrating 50,000 of those amazing women entrepreneurs. That are these amazing women that just refuse to give up, no matter what. Whether it's COVID, whether it's droughts or floods, or let's be honest, all of us understand heat waves, and realize that they will never give up. The world can say that we're in a calamity and we're going to have an economic crisis, but guess what? They're always the recovery plan. Always. And I think what I've learned in this time is that it's not just about climate, because we talk about this a lot right now. It's about the fact that a mom was able to get a solar light to her daughter so she could study at night, because she made the decision to change her daughter's life. It's about that farmer that despite the droughts, despite the loss, was able to make a decision to get climate insurance so she could feed her family. These women fundamentally are trying to constantly find new innovations to create a future for their children, despite the chaos. So what do we do now, right? Let's create 1 million of them, right? Let's let them transform 100 million lives. What do we do? Where do we sit? The idea and the opportunity is that they're now willing, ready, and able. They've been there. In India, they've been there. We have an opportunity to uplift them. 26 years of Ashden. Kudos to you, seriously. But the same way the joke was that this is not a lifetime achievement award, this is an outstanding achievement award. Let's be clear, we have a lot to do, and we're getting started. So just join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, and congratulations once again. And speaking of alumni, I know there are some who are watching, but also some in the audience. And also, we have some of their work here on stage, but don't worry about the bird. It will be recycled, reused. This is all part of Vector Sets, who are previous winners, and they are producing sustainable TV and movie sets. I told you guys you were at a movie premiere. Here's evidence. Next up, the 2026 Ashden Award for Solving Energy Challenges. And the winner is Real Program Catalysts, who are delivering energy to some of sub-Saharan Africa's most remote rural communities. Let's see their work.
Adia kompina lomanta dire tikidi tila so light no lal kamatma. Tas rasangi. Real ayamani amputa si pian sumampu baki no be minta ka dire. Kapetsa kabi ayamane eso light sita dire. Antotoko pipi wat koko ira ampa ka study bing ambak bang.
There's only 35% of electrification in Sierra Leone right now, and because of the geographic location of Cambia, electrification is much lower, 10% for the urban parts of Cambia and less than 5% for the rural areas.
Today, there are still nearly 600 million people in Africa that do not have electricity access. The last mile communities, people living in the most remote areas, the hardest to reach, they are being systematically left behind.
Easy Solar has been operating on the lease-to-own model for the better part of the past 10 years. Even though it's been quite effective in especially urban and peri-urban areas, we came to notice that in rural areas there's been a higher barrier of entry for certain households within the communities because of the required down payment, which can be upwards of $15 to $20.
Retail products are not affordable for the majority of customers in these last-mile communities. What is more, they are not providing a long-term connection. Many of them break down in a couple of years, leaving a lot of e-waste behind. A radical change is needed from the status quo, and this is exactly why Real Program Catalyst has been founded. The single biggest barrier we remove is the cost at the point of access. With our solar home systems as a service model, there is no exclusionary upfront cost. The user does not own the system. They pay an affordable monthly fee to be able to use it. Real works with local operators who are there to install and maintain the systems over a long period of time.
Real is a key partner to Easy Solar. They introduced us to the energy as a service model. They also raised the first round of funds for us to do our 2000 installation pilots. And after we did that, it served as a catalyst for other donors and partners to come on board and provide funds for more installations. The energy as a service model introduced to us by Real, it's very affordable. So we have a much higher penetration rate, as high as 80%. There are less people left behind on the energy ladder. We go into communities, we explain the energy as a service model to the people in these communities, and it's from these conversations that we are able to establish interest, and which leads to better uptake. Currently, Easy Solar is planning on having 20,000 installations on the Energy as a Service platform by the end of this year. And by the end of 2027, we're planning on having 400,000 connections within Cambia.
Currently, Real has operational pilots in 3 countries on the continent: Malawi, Sierra Leone, and Senegal. So we have proven that the model can work in different contexts. Now our ambition is to scale that, to use the evidence that we have, and to ensure that this model moves to being the go-to approach for governments and development partners for electrifying the last mile.
To present this award, please welcome one of Ashden's previous winners and the person who introduced my kids to Avengers. And to receive it, Yeva Indranaita, the Real Program Catalyst's Executive Director. Welcome.
This award belongs to everyone who believes that access to light is a public good. In Sierra Leone, which you saw in the video, we installed a solar home system for a man who's blind. His village was so remote that few solar companies went there. And when they did, he could not afford to buy. We asked him a different question. What can you pay? Not what the market says, not what the lender charges, what he could actually afford. Later, someone asked him, why do you pay every month for a light you cannot see? He said, before the light, my family used to scatter in the evening, each to their own corner. Now, after dark, we gather in the same room. My children study, my wife works on her business, and I sit with them. I can hear them. I can feel them around me. We measure electrification in numbers, connections, watts, penetration rates. What this man was describing is the real impact. Light isn't just something you see. It is something you feel. It connects people. We call ourselves Real because we are realistic about what it takes to electrify the last mile. With no upfront cost, just an affordable monthly service fee, we connect entire communities fast. Real does not sell a product that we install once and walk away from. We are building an energy access service that lasts, even at the last mile. Now we need to accelerate. Governments, funders, impact investors, work with us. Adopt our energy as a service model. Let's scale it together. Energy for all has to mean all. We cannot slow down until everyone is connected. Thank you very much.
Congratulations once again. Those who are confused, yes, that is my husband. By the way, I only ever dated award winners, thank you very much. And of all the award winners I dated, it was the Ashden one I married. There you go. Something else for your website. Another reason to fall in love with this organization. And in fact, but also, happy Father's Day. This was all planned. So don't expect anything on Sunday. And should we just kind of quickly just appreciate all the dads? As we did with the moms earlier. And in fact, our final Ashden Award for Tropical Forest Protection really demonstrates the kind of impact family and community and culture have in creating a fairer, safer, and better future. This award goes to Instituto ZAG, that's based in one of the most biodiverse country on Earth, Brazil. Let's see how they're protecting and restoring precious forests.
A Mãe Terra está pedindo socorro. E eu vejo que isso é um problema universal, né? É um problema da humanidade. E tudo isso está acontecendo, e agora? O que a gente vai fazer? O que podemos fazer? Vamos cozinhar. Vou cozinhar um pouquinho, filha. E esses aqui a gente vai deixar para plantar, para fazer mais pinhão. Aí você pode fazer assim, como da mamãe. Essa pintura é a nossa pintura quando a gente vai entrar para a floresta. Você é muito guerreira, filha.
Eu acredito assim que a floresta ela traz memórias muito antigas, que são memórias que nossos avós deixaram para nós. Esse foi o nosso último xamã. Esse é meu bisavó, Copacã. Esse quando eles já fizeram contato e colocaram as roupas.
Então, irmão, kaya ko tong minong yung bagtik ang jugo ko minong ki yoma kung on. Tok me dang betay nyun kam bagtik de tay timle. Kung ko de kan on zerto nga ku nande ki mama chontika. Zertimle ku zuko ko tom zerki tom minong ko mai pe engi ja ko me ang gamban joma to. Kuna Nossa,
aqui tem pinhão, Kai, vamos ver. A tentativa de extermínio do povo Xoclen começou no primeiro contato. Mas eles não nos matam mais com o facão, eles não nos matam mais com arma de fogo, eles nos matam com veneno, com agrotóxico, eles vão tirando nossas terras, nosso território, a nossa comida. E através das nossas árvores também, porque sem araucária não tem nossa existência. A gente caminha junto.
O Instituto ZAG hoje tem como sua principal missão tirar a araucária do risco de extinção. E a gente tenta gerar emprego e renda dentro da comunidade através de práticas sustentáveis que vão ajudar o planeta.
Azul, quer um pouco de mel?
As abelhas elas vieram assim para adoçar a nossa vida, para mostrar que é possível você ser sustentável na floresta, cuidar da floresta.
Aqui era o nosso território, ó. Dá para ver que estão fazendo uma estrada aqui, ó, no meio da floresta já.
E antes do desmatamento, onde ficava aqui as araucárias?
Estavam aqui nessa região, tinha pouco.
Nós também estamos treinando jovens para poder monitorar a floresta, para mostrar para esses jovens que hoje a nossa arma pode ser uma câmera, um celular, um drone, um computador. Então, a gente, quando une o conhecimento ancestral com tecnologia, a nossa luta se fortaleça e a gente consiga monitorar e cuidar delas para as próximas gerações.
Essa daqui é uma imagem de satélite, ó, que mesmo dentro da terra indígena está perdendo floresta.
Essa parte onde a gente busca parcerias com pesquisadores, universidades, para que o nosso trabalho ele também seja científico.
Então, nosso próximo passo é levar algumas araucárias e reflorestar essa parte onde eles estão desmatando e abrindo, que é uma forma da gente também demarcar o território.
Começamos a reflorestar com 1000 mudas, junto com famílias, amigos. Hoje a gente é uma organização que já plantou mais de 140 mil mudas, junto com voluntários, com a nossa comunidade, vem turistas plantar aqui conosco.
Vai virar uma grande floresta.
Araucária, você vai ser uma bailarina araucária.
Alguém pode cortar ela?
Eu não vou deixar nunca.
To present the award, please welcome Ed Davey from World Resources Institute and the winner, who will be sharing their remarks in Portuguese with English translation provided. Please give them a warm welcome, Isabel Prestes de Fonseca.
Enkakeon, Alimakem. É uma profunda honra estar aqui hoje. Eu sou Isabel. Venho do território indígena Laclanô de Choclen, na Mata Atlântica do sul do Brasil. Nossa jornada como Instituto Zé começou em um território onde a floresta não é um recurso. A nossa floresta é a base da nossa existência, ela é a nossa família. Houve um tempo em que os povos indígenas eram exibidos em zoológicos humanos, vistos como objeto de curiosidade. Hoje eu estou aqui para dizer que nós somos a resposta para as crises climáticas. Vimos a nossa árvore azag desaparecer diante dos nossos olhos, mas para nós ela nunca foi madeira. Nós não estamos separados da natureza. Nós somos a natureza tentando se defender. Já plantamos mais de 140 mil mudas de zang, reflorestando aproximadamente 42 mil hectares de floresta. E o prêmio Ashden é a prova que o conhecimento indígena não está no passado. O conhecimento indígena é o futuro. Enquanto o mundo procura resposta para as crises climáticas, nós vivemos essa resposta há milhares de anos. Mas nós não podemos mais fazer isso sozinhos. É preciso transformar reconhecimento em apoio direto às comunidades indígenas que estão na linha de frente, protegendo a vida. Imaginem vocês quantas florestas mais nós podemos reflorestar. Compartilhamos um único planeta. E cuidar da Terra hoje é cuidar do futuro de todos nós. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ed, and parabens, Isabel. That's as much as I speak, so parabens. I would now like to invite one of the UK's fiercest champions for climate resilience to deliver tonight's closing address. She's the chair of the Independent National Heat Risk Commission and the former chair of the Environment Agency. Please help me give a warm round of applause to Emma Howard Boyd.
What an extraordinary evening, and wonderful to see you all here tonight. In a building that has been managing climate for decades, the National Gallery has spent years perfecting the science of keeping its collection at precisely the right temperature and humidity. But those standards were written for a stable climate. The question now is what it means to protect both art and people in a world that is rapidly becoming less stable. That tension between the buildings we have and the climate we now face is exactly what tonight is about. As a former Ashden judge, I saw firsthand the ingenuity and practical leadership of the people we honour. Year after year, Ashden finds those who are not waiting for someone else to solve the climate challenge. They are already doing it. And that has been true for 26 years. Ashden winners prove that climate action is not a burden to be endured. It's an opportunity. Healthier communities, lower costs, stronger local economies, greater resilience. And tonight we celebrate another remarkable group of winners. But we also gather at a particular moment. This year, the Climate Change Committee's well-adapted UK report delivered a message that should concentrate all our minds. Despite growing climate risks, the UK is not preparing for floods and heat waves at the pace required. Too many homes, schools, businesses, and public services remain exposed to risks we already know are coming. And when the report talks about those risks, heat sits at the centre. I now chair the National Heat Risk Commission, and I'm often asked why we focus on heat over flooding or storms. A flood has a perimeter. A storm has a track. Heat has neither. It is an invisible transfer of energy that moves through bodies, buildings, materials, and networks all at once, silently. In July 2022, the UK passed 40 degrees for the first time in recorded history. Nearly 3,000 people died from heat-related causes that summer. Most of them did not need to. Heat compounds with air pollution, drought, and wildfire, multiplying the harm of each. It is a systemic hazard demanding a systemic response. No single department, profession, or tier of government can build resilience to it alone. And that is what makes the work in this room so urgent. So if people gather at the Ashden Awards in 2050, what story will they tell about the choices we made this decade? Will it be one of recognised risk and slow response, or of acceleration, scaling solutions already emerging all around us? Because the encouraging truth is that the solutions exist. Many of them are in this room. The people we celebrate tonight are not simply responding to future threats. You are helping people deal with the challenges they face right now. And critically, you understand that extreme weather does not affect everyone equally. The communities most reliant on critical infrastructure are often the ones least insulated when it fails. like the residents stranded when 18 lifts failed in social housing tower blocks in Hammersmith and Fulham during the July 2022 heatwave. Resilience that ignores that is only partial resilience. Climate action succeeds precisely when it improves the lives of people who have the least to cushion against failure. A wonderful expression of that spirit is Ashden's Let's Go Zero campaign, which we heard about this evening, now reaching a third of UK schools, colleges and nurseries. A brilliant achievement. But low-carbon infrastructure is not automatically climate-resilient infrastructure. A net zero school that becomes unbearable in a heat wave is not fit for the future. Children cannot learn and teachers cannot teach in overheated classrooms. The British Film Institute's Cool Off in Culture campaign shows what is at stake. Cultural venues, cinemas, galleries, spaces like this one are being listed as public refuges during heat waves. If we need our cultural institutions to shelter people from the summer, what does that tell us about our homes, our schools, and our streets? Heat passes through walls, roofs, and windows into young bodies and minds at the very moment we're asking them to concentrate. And the best projects already understand this, and we saw them in some of them in the film. Ventilation, shading, green space, and resilient design alongside decarbonisation. They are creating learning environments that are healthier and better prepared for the decades ahead, and giving young people the most powerful thing that we can offer, evidence that change is possible. I also want to say something directly about the political debate of this moment because it deserves plain speaking. Too often, climate action is presented as a choice between cutting emissions and adapting to what is already here. It is a false choice and a dangerous one. One without the other is like bailing out a boat while drilling more holes in the hull. We have to do both. And the Climate Change Committee has shown that reaching net zero will cost less than a single major fossil fuel price shock while returning between £2 and £4 for every pound invested. The path to a more secure, more prosperous Britain runs through cutting emissions and adapting well, not one or the other. So tonight is a celebration of creativity and courage, of people who see a problem and choose to build a solution. Think of each Ashden winner, not as a pilot, but as a precedent. The summer of 2022 in London showed us the country we have. The work ahead in schools, in communities, is to build the country we need. What happens between now and 2050 depends on the choices we make and the solutions we choose to scale. The winners we honour tonight are showing us the way forward. Not wishful thinking, not optimism without evidence, the kind of hope that comes from seeing real people achieve real change. So thank you to everyone involved with Ashden, to Sarah, partners, supporters, judges and organisers, and above all, congratulations to tonight's winners. Your work is changing lives today and helping shape the future we need tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Wow. Wow, that was really powerful. And a reminder that what we're doing isn't just urgent, it's also achievable, right? And if you listen closely, she's also given us all an invitation to the Ashden Awards 2050. So, see you guys there. Now, you know when you go watch a movie and then something just happens in the end that you weren't expecting? This is one of those moments. Before we bring this night to a close, there's one more award we would like to present. Please welcome on stage the man who's been at the forefront of the environment movement in the UK and internationally for the past 5 decades, Jonathan Porritt. Please.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, this is a real privilege to have been asked to say a few words right at the end of a wonderfully inspiring evening. And knowing, of course, as I do, that for Sarah, this is a complete surprise. And I know right now she's probably pretty seriously pissed off. Because these are the moments that Sarah really, really doesn't like. So my congratulations firstly to Joe and fellow members of the Ashden staff who managed to keep it completely secret. I don't know how you did that, but it was brilliant. I became a trustee of Ashden, the Ashden Awards as they were then, in 2005. And I ceased to be a trustee of Ashden, as it then was, in 2019. You can tell that the governance of Ashden has improved over the years. They were quite special days. It was actually very moving for me hearing Sarah talk about what it was like in some of those early occasions when the awards did not have the cachet that they have today, were not recognized in the way that they are today. And a lot of people wondered, really, how this would work over time. I felt a kindred spirit right from that early start, because for me there was something special about what Sarah was trying to do. It was, of course, about safe, sustainable, renewable energy. But unlike a lot of people in the renewable energy sector, that wasn't really what drove Sarah. It was the combination of all the different benefits that could be achieved through these schemes, through awarding these amazing initiatives, bringing together a much more holistic vision of what was going on, with an emphasis on social justice, on health, on women's empowerment, which was enormously important, on economic opportunity, on biodiversity. It was that whole vision which really mattered enormously. And I resonated with that, as everybody has since that time. So 26 award ceremonies later, 276 award winners, 9,000 schools, as we've just heard, going zero in the most brilliant way. A whole network of people making this scheme possible, this initiative possible. It is quite something to look back over that period of time and acknowledge the brilliance, the insight, the foundational vision that Sarah brought to bear on it right from the start. And there's been a lot else going on, of course, not least every year an award ceremony that became more and more important emotionally to more and more people, because these days you have to go and get your hope somewhere in the midst of this ensuing shitstorm. And boy, have we had some amazing speakers over the years. We've had national treasures, we've had international icons, we've had more pillars of the establishment than here in the Sainsbury wing. And of course, we've had, above all else, His Majesty the King, King Charles, Ashden's extremely enthusiastic and supportive patron, because he seriously gets what is going on here. And behind all of this, as I know you appreciate, there are so many people who make this actually happen, not just Sarah herself and all the trustees during this time, but of course the staff of Ashden during these years, the people who funded it and made it possible, the judges. Boy, can you imagine the depth of expertise and knowledge required to make the judgments that then allow these incredible people to come forward for us to celebrate the achievements of year after year after year? That network, that family, is completely remarkable. And I'm reminded of every single year I look at Ashden's impact report, because it's like concentric circles. Well, actually, this is Ashden, so not really concentric, Fibonacci circles, because it's bound to be a bit more alternative. This notion that you've got direct impact through the award schemes itself, through the winners, and then you go beyond that. And as Sarah said, we're talking millions of people who've benefited from these 276 awards. So, I sort of feel there are 276 award winners standing just behind me here, actually probably saying, get on with it, Jonathan, for God's sake, get on with it. And I will. And Sarah, when I ask you to come up in just a minute, I'm speaking on behalf of all of those award winners who tonight, for one last moment in this 26th award ceremony, just want to recognize your genius in making all this happen. Want to recognize what you have brought to it over all these years, your stubbornness, and I think we know now where you got some of that from, your creativity, your determination, your integrity, your passion, and the combined contribution that these awards have made during all that time. And we all feel unbelievably grateful to you for everything you've done. So now you have to come up onto the stage, because you're going to get one of these.
That was a complete
surprise. That it says on this, Champion of Champions. I forgot that. Joe, so sorry.
I have to say this guy was my mentor, and without his expertise and his wisdom, we probably would never have done it. So a huge thank you also to Jonathan. But thank you to all of you. It's been a delight to share this evening with you, and let's enjoy a party afterwards. Take care. See you soon.
Thank you both. It's impossible to stand here and not acknowledge Sarah and what she's done. You've started a global engine that's really powering positive change everywhere. So thank you, Sarah. As the Ashden Awards ceremony draws to an end, I heard you guys being told it's time for drinks. Just before that, I would like to share some important thank yous. And this is on behalf of the Ashden founder and senior leaders. And I'm going to do something that you didn't know. I'm going to say these thank yous in Kiswahili, which is asante. So to all our funders and partners, past and present, asante. To all who have stepped forward as judges or trustees, asante. To every organization that has entered our awards or joined the programs, asante. And to the team who have worked so hard to make this a success, I say asante sana, which is thank you very much. These guys are brilliant. They've put this together, and somehow they managed to do it the day after England is supposed to play. And also, they made sure that England did win, so we were all in good spirits. Where else can you get that? Finally, this evening would not happen without you, the audience. We hope that the awards have inspired you to take action on climate change and climate action itself, and to connect with other collaborators, many of whom are here today. That's what we hope, but what we really need you to do is to tell us, especially those of you who have been to these awards before. We have a very, very short survey for you, and then we do promise the drinks and food. In a minute, we're going to get the winners back on stage for a group picture. But before that, please take your phones out and scan the QR code, and let us know what difference these Ashden Awards mean to you, and anything else, including the host was amazing. Thank you for making us make the next award ceremonies even better. Once again, my name is Myra Anubi, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be with you all. My kids can now go to bed. Thank you very much. I hope we've shown you, and also my children and any other children that we've seen in the videos, that, you know, change is possible, that we can empower the next generation, and also that partnership, policy, and philanthropy, that's the real magic that exists in this room. Now, I'd like to invite all the winners back on stage for the group picture, and to all our climate friends in the audience, the Avengers would say it's time to assemble, but for drinks and food. Thank you very much.
Maybe with the army.